Hey everyone, Randy here. Welcome to The Dark Project, which is all about rekindling my passion for writing and sharing some helpful tips and tricks with you all along the way and giving my authorly opinions on things. And today is another opinion video, and it is on the enemies to lovers trope and how frequently it is miscategorized and misused. Most enemies to lovers stories are actually rivals to lovers. Hear me out. Here's why. The definition of rival, according to Merriam-Webster, it is a noun, which is a person or thing competing with another for the same objective or for superiority in the same field of activity. That's the definition of rival. The definition of enemy, also a noun, a person who is actively opposed or hostile to someone or something. Marketing gonna market, but I feel like enemy as a word has more weight, more animosity, higher stakes than rival does. The average workplace romance, which so many of them now are, oh, this is enemies to lovers. No, it is not. Most workplace friction style romances are rivals to lovers, not enemies to lovers. And that's totally okay. When you're dealing with something like romantasy and you have soldiers from, say, opposing armies, that is enemies to lovers, not just rivals to lovers. Most true enemies to lovers is really hard to believe. And there's a lot of hoops that have to be jumped through, and the author has to work so hard to suspend your disbelief. Rivals to lovers is a lot more likely to happen in reality. So I feel like it's more viable and underutilized because it is so much more likely to actually occur. And I think the thing that everybody's looking for in enemies to lovers, but is also present in rivals to lovers, is you've got that small amount of, hopefully, sexy sparks and clashing and friction and opposition of ideas that happens in rivals to lovers. Does also happen in enemies to lovers, but usually on a grander scale. But think about it for a minute. In reality, could you bet a soldier from an opposing army who has the blood of innocent people from your faction on their hands? Really, really think about that. Because I'm pretty sure in real life that would be a no. And yes, I understand that this is fiction, so we give it a pass for some things. But in real life, that's not going to fly. Think about it. As far as my personal favorite example of enemies to lovers, that would have to be Buffy and Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, because I have a thing for grumpy blondes. It's a thing, okay? It's a thing. Grumpy blondes are husband-coded. I know, because I married one. I am divorced from him, but I married a grumpy blonde. I have a type. I have way more than one, but that's beside the point. The whole thing that was great about their relationship was that for so long they were at each other's throats. And even when they weren't, everything was just still so full of friction, and it wasn't good for either of them. The relationship ended up falling apart due to lack of trust between them, but seriously, y'all, tell me, if you have seen Buffy the Vampire Slayer in its entirety and you remember the scene where Buffy and Spike are hardcore heavy making out leading into other things, and they're like knocking an entire house down in the process, whew, that's where it's at. That is the kind of heat and spice the people who enjoy the enemies to lovers trope are looking for. But I still feel like a lot of things that get classified as enemies to lovers are really just rivals to lovers. And that's okay, because rival doesn't have the same marketing punch as enemy does. So what do you think about all of that? Let me know in the comment section down below the video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Keep writing.